I'm Nick Snow, watching Government for Oil and Gas Journal in Washington, D.C. Cutting the national ambient air quality standard for ozone from 75 parts per billion to a 65 to 70 ppb range is unnecessary, premature, and badly mistaken. That was the message witnesses from the U.S. oil and gas industry and other businesses strongly conveyed at the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's January 29th hearing on the proposal. Their warnings came more than a month before the National Association of Manufacturers said EPA's proposed 65 ppb limit could reduce U.S. gross domestic product by $140 billion a year and create $1.1 trillion in compliance expenses from 2017 to 2040. NAM's March 2nd estimates came from a National Economic Research Associates study updating July 2014 figures from NERA's analysis of impacts from EPA's earlier proposed 60 ppb limit. While the new study's estimates were lower, NAM said the information nevertheless confirmed its previous conclusion that the proposed rules could be the most expensive regulation in U.S. history. If EPA chooses to unnecessarily lower the ozone standards, hundreds of billions of dollars in annual U.S. economic output and millions of American jobs could be lost, warned Howard J. Feldman, the American Petroleum Institute's Regulatory and Scientific Affairs Director at EPA's January 29th hearing. The degree and range of potential impacts from any change in the standards highlight the need for a robust debate about the science EPA is using to justify these regulations, he suggested. The agency's determination of potential health benefits from a lower standard is flawed, Independent Petroleum Association of America Executive Vice President Lee O. Fuller said. In 2011, when EPA proposed a 70 ppb standard, its median, quote, net benefits, end quote, estimate for a 65 ppb standard was only $700 million, with a high possibility that the costs could outweigh any benefits, he said. But in 2014, EPA changed its mind, claiming net benefits of a lower ozone standard are now as high as $23 billion, a 3,100% increase in net benefits for the exact same standard. In its support documents for the proposal, Fuller said EPA projections show the vast majority of U.S. counties with monitors would meet the proposed standards by 2025, just with the rules and programs now in place or underway. The nation's air quality has significantly improved and continues to improve, with new voluntary and regulatory programs already in place or being implemented, said Lorraine Gershman, the American Chemistry Council's Senior Director of Environment and Process Safety. According to EPA, total emissions of the 6 principal criteria air pollutants fell by 62% between 1980 and 2013. The proposed lower allowed ozone range potentially could do more harm than good, according to Feldman. Depending on the level selected, decreasing the ozone standards could put almost the entire country out of compliance, he said. Specifically, standards of 65 ppb could lead to non-attainment areas in 45 of the lower 48 states. Furthermore, tighter standards could cause our economy to nosedive and people to lose their jobs. Gershman said more than $137 billion in new chemical industry investment is planned or underway domestically, with 60% foreign direct outlays. EPA's proposal to lower the ozone max would impose significant burdens and hurdles on that new investment, she testified. That's Watching Government for this week. In Washington, I'm Nick Snow for Oil and Gas Journal.